never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. We are the Carters, and I am Dante, and you are
Yolanda.
All right, guys. So another topic we get sometimes, people want to know what it's like being married and business partners at the same time. We hear that like quite a bit, right? Like,
yes.
I don't know, we always get the same answer. It's probably a different answer like every time, right? Depends on what's going on in the marriage or the business. That helps determine what the answer is. How about what you think? Like, what do you think? Like, it's like being business partners and being married. Like, you gotta work with the same person like every day.
It can be challenging. It has its bonuses and its minuses. And very true about depending on what's going on in your personal life can affect your business life as well. Sometimes it can be kind of hard to be like, I gotta put the business before our personal stuff. So, you always gotta try to choose the right thing, which can be hard sometimes because, it's doing personal business, being personal with each other. Sometimes you just be like, I don't want to do this, but it's going to affect your business. So you have to do it. You have to push through. And
yeah, I think it'll be very challenging. Some days it's like, I think business for me, I always call it like relationships like business or business or relationship. I always call it like the same thing. I think like however you run your business, it's pretty much the same thing like running a relationship, right? So I feel like, you got to be on the same page. You got to kind of move as one, in the business and a relationship. But I think it's like difficult some days. Some days it's good when things are good, right? You're happy to be working together. You're happy to be hanging out. You're happy to be going places. You can take your lunch breaks together. You can travel together and still work. It's a business trip, things like that. But when it's bad, it's bad. It's like a regular relationship. You arguing, you fussing, you fighting, and not like fighting, but arguing, fussing, and all of that stuff. It kind of affects the day-to-day operation of the business. When you got a lot going on, it's some hard decisions sometimes to keep pushing on when the decisions you making affecting not just you but the people around you, right? So you got to still get up and push through. Yeah, that's the right word. Like push through, because it's challenging, but like I say, the good days are the good days. You do get a lot of time with each other. You get to talk a lot, you get to hang out a lot. I think one of the challenges that we tried to implement was like trying not to talk about like business after like business hours, because you talk about business all day long. So
it was hard.
Yeah.
We stuck with it and then we got off track. Like,
Right.
No, we're not supposed to be talking business after this time.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're so involved with your business.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard not to talk about it, but it is imperative,
Right.
just to tune in and check in with your partner and not
Right.
talk business, because you got to get personal, boy. We can't just be all business all the time. So
Right.
you have to find your other ways to connect personally and deeper outside of business.
I mean, I think that's definitely true. And it can be a challenge because, like you say, business is always on your mind, is always going on, and trying to like separate that sometimes. It's different if you work a 9 to 5, right? You just go to work, you come home, you don't talk about work, right? But it's like when you own business, it's like in the middle of the night, you might be thinking about something and your partner's right there, so you try to start talking about it. But, we've been doing business together for so long, sometimes it's like we don't got no business talk. We be trying to figure out what to talk about because we so engulfed into the business, right?
Or just being with somebody for so long.
That's true,
like
too.
We've been together married for 26
years
years
married,
and been
right,
together prior before getting married. So you have talked about a lot. over the
Yeah,
years.
that's true. That's
And
true.
then, of course, you do have changes in your relationship, so you should talk about those things as well. But I do believe, one thing we did try to implement too is having a date night every week.
Oh, right.
Friday nights were our date night. So, my cousins and I, when they used to want to invite me out, they'd be like, oh, you can't do Fridays. It's your date night. Like,
Right.
yeah.
But then we spent a lot of date nights still talking about business, though. That was like the problem. Like, we
Yeah.
always talking about business. And I don't really know, like, it's challenging to not talk about business. Like, it's been something today I've been wanting to talk to you about. And I was like, no, I'm going to talk to her about it in the morning. But it's business related. But it's like, when does the off switch go on? We running 4 businesses. So it's like, it's hard to get all that in within an 8-hour time frame in the morning. As an entrepreneur, like, yeah, your hat is on all day long, day and night. So it's like, it can be challenging, but like I say, it definitely has its pros and cons. It's not all bad, it's not all good. So you have to be committed to the business, right? Because the business is what pay the bills, right? But at the same time, your relationship is priority as well. So I mean, it's just an all around challenge. Like I say, good and bad. So I will say this though. Let me say this. If you don't have a strong foundation as a relationship, I wouldn't suggest going into business together. I mean, everything for me starts on like a foundation. You have to have a foundation to build on. So if your relationship is not strong, trying to do business together is not going to help it. It's probably going to make it worse, right? Because the challenges that come along with being business partners, and a lot of times you might have to overlook things. You might have to like swallow your pride about some things, and stuff like that. So I think it's like, if you don't have a strong foundation as a relationship, I wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, it's true. And we do, like in our businesses, we both work on different things. So what I might work on, you don't work on.
Right.
So it does alleviate that, because of course we don't think exactly alike. We don't do everything exactly alike. So we do have different roles within our business. And of course, if one of us may be filling in for that person for the day, we check in with that person like, hey, such and such is going on. How you want to handle it?
Right.
So I think it's just communication all the time is key with everything in life anyway.
Right.
But I think having different roles within the business, you handle one thing, your partner handles another aspect of the business. And it helps make the business run and run strong. But of course, some days you do have to fill in for your partner because they may have something else going on.
Yeah, because in our businesses, we pretty much know each other's role. Like, we can do each other's role. Like, one of the roles is like when you go to rent court. Like, I can go to rent court. I've been to rent court several times if she can't make it or something like that. So it just all depends. I can't deal with a maintenance issue. She knows how to deal with the maintenance issue, who to call, who to talk to, how to take care of it. Same thing with the trucks. Like, one day I couldn't they changed the pickup time on a load. And, she go with me so much. It was like, she was like, oh, go take care of what you have to take care of. And you and DJ, her and my son.
Put my trucker hat on.
And go pick the load up for me. They came back with it. And, I went and go to deliver it once they picked it up, So we know each other's role. But I think that's something we probably could honestly get a little bit better with, though. Like, really, like, having, like, really designated roles. Like, and it's like, that is our role. And we do this, like, consistently, and this is what we do. But I don't know, I guess we do kind of do that. Like, I'm trying to think some of the stuff right now that you specifically do.
I don't deal with maintenance issues.
Yeah, unless it's like I'm sick or like something going on. Right.
I don't deal with that.
Right. You deal with most of the tenant issues, stuff like that. So yeah, within the businesses, I guess we do have like our specific roles to play, right?
Yeah.
So I guess like what other, or if there's even any more suggestions you would have if somebody came to you tomorrow and was like, hey, me and my husband me and my wife thinking about doing a business together. you know, what else would you think you would recommend to them?
Outside of being specific with roles, of course, somebody has to be the leader in the business, so one of us has to take the back seat. So, you know, it's kind of hard sometimes, especially when you're a person who does have a strong personality and you're like, no, we shouldn't do it like this. It's hard for you to sometimes take the back seat and be
So
like,
how do you decide? How do you decide who plays that leadership role?
I think the two people who are together can know who is the person who can help grow and push the business further than where you want it to go. So I think we have to be realistic with ourselves, what our strengths and weaknesses are, and pick the person who's able to push the business to the next level. It might be you, it could be me. Who knows? But we have to be comfortable with letting the other person lead.
That's a tough one. I don't think everybody can do that though. I think like
It's hard.
that's a challenge for most people. Yeah, especially as a couple, because as couples you feel like it's a 50-50 thing, right? So it's the same thing with like the business 50-50. So it's like, how do you decide like who's in charge or who like makes the final decisions, you know, and stuff like that. Like, again, I think that's how you tie like a marriage together, right? It's almost like the same thing. Like within a marriage, like you want to feel 50-50, but somebody at the end of the day has to make like that final decision.
In the business, there's a CEO.
Right.
Who is running everything. Right. And yes, there are different layers of people underneath of the CEO. But the CEO is the one who's running the business, taking it to the next levels. And you can't have a bunch of CEOs because you're going to have a lot of this.
Yeah.
bumping heads a lot. So
that's a good one right there.
Yeah.
I like that one. Hey, I think that's a good one. I ain't think of that one.
Okay. What advice would you give?
I don't know. Like I say, definitely the strong foundation. I'm gonna go back to that one. You have to have the strong foundation going in. I definitely agree with you with the somebody to lead the company where it needs to go. Let me think. I don't know. I think it would tie into back with just kind of being patient with each other. I think it's important for everybody to know their role. Like you say, like you have a role, but actually like know it and accept it. I think that's like extremely important. And it's like, let me change it from roles to like your strengths, right? You should know your strengths. You should know your weaknesses. And if that other person has like, this is my strength, but this is your weakness. Like, let's flip it, like, and be okay with that. Like, let me handle whatever your weakness is and you handle whatever my weaknesses are. And I think that will help make things go a little bit smoother because everybody have a strength and everybody have a weakness. And you have to feed off of that. I think it's like, if you're not like, filling in, if I'm weaker at something, right? And I'm like, you're not feeling, the partner's not filling in at that, then that doesn't get done. It doesn't get done correctly, right? And then you're trying to like go through so much to get that, putting so much energy into trying to build that strength up when you could be putting that energy into something else, right? That weakness up, I'm sorry, when you could put it into something else, but you already so good at it, right? That's like me, I can't type for nothing, right? And it's like, I'm sitting here trying to like type and type and type and type. It take me an hour to type when it take you 3 minutes to type because you type so much better than me, right? That's a strength, you see what I'm saying, of yours, and it's a weakness of mine. Right. So we could cut out so much time by you just taking care of what I'm not as good at as you are. And I can take care of what I'm good at and and I can do that, right? So I think like knowing your strengths and weaknesses is like a big thing, a big part of it for you to really like be comfortable with that. Like for somebody to really be able to accept that and not to just take like criticism the wrong way, right? I think people when you try to you criticizing them, but you criticizing for the betterment of the bigger picture, right? You like, hey, we partners. I need you to take care of this so things could be better, or you're doing this incorrectly, right? People take that so personal, and that's like a big thing in marriage, business, friendship. People take honest criticism personal when you're not trying to like make it personal. And I think a lot of times people will say, and I find myself saying this sometimes too, is like, oh, the way you delivered it was incorrect, right? But it don't change the fact that this needs to be fixed. This needs to be better. This needs to be done this way. So I think that's a big.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's easy to take things personal.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, in a business relationship, no matter, right?
Business, personal.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think that's another one for me. I think like both, listen, this is something too. Both people have to be really good with consistency. Consistency is everything, right? Because somebody else could be so consistent and the other person inconsistent. It could cause a conflict, right? It's like, well, damn, like I'm doing this all the time. Like, what is you doing? Like, why are you not doing this, right? You're not making time for it. You're not putting the energy, you're not putting the same energy and effort into it, that the other person putting into it, right? So that can make the other person get upset or make the other person feel, like
they pulling more weight.
That's the worst thing. When somebody feel like they pulling more weight, right?
Yeah, but sometimes in some relationships, some marriages you are gonna pull a little bit more weight,
right.
So you kind of have to help see what's going on with your business partner, see how you can help them,
right?
Be able to pull their weight in a certain situation. Maybe that's just something that they're not able to do, and that just might be another test that you have to do because. Like you said, you gotta notice what they're good at, what they're not good at, and then you might just have to pick up
the slack.
Yeah. And be okay with it because I'm sure there's something that they probably picking up for you that you're not good at. So you have to be okay. It's a give and take. Everything is give and take. So you have to be able to want to pick up the slack. Yeah.
Okay. So that's kind of just a few things we wanted to kind of touch on about whether it's a good idea to work with your partner, your spouse, as a business partner or not. I think that's probably all I could probably think of top of my head. This is a random one we just kind of put together and was just, thinking on top of our head, just trying to give you guys an idea of, kind of like what it's like. I'm sure it's probably a lot of things we probably didn't cover, probably a lot of things you might didn't think of. But, we always open to questions. We always tell you guys, if you got any questions, comments, just leave them at the bottom of the screen underneath of the video. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys on the next video. All right?